Hey, hello, I'm Kråkan, also known as Corvus Cornix, and welcome to Yacc, yet another Crowcast where I pick a game, I play it for a week, and then I'll talk about it. This week's game is Little Samson for the Nintendo Entertainment System. It was released in EU in 1993, and it's a platformer developed by Kikira and published by Taito. And also there will be spoilers up ahead, just so you know, but first a little bit of backstory. So the only way I can play this game is via emulation, because even a loose copy of this game is way more expensive, and I'm not buying that. So I bought a modded NES Mini for my brother a couple of years back, and this game was on it. So the rest of it is history. So at the start of the game, a king sends out 3 soldiers to battle an evil green wizard known as the Evil Prince, and they are destroyed. So then the king has another brilliant idea. He sends out 4 pigeons with letters to 4 different heroes: Little Samson, Kikira the dragon, Gamm the Golem, and Ko the mouse. So Little Samson is a little boy that throws bells. He can jump high, and he can climb on walls and ceilings. Kikira the dragon can fly a bit, and she can spit fire, and if you hold the B button, I believe, she does a little charge up. Gamm the Golem was originally a thief that stole a potion from Ko the mouse, because, well, thieves do that. And then he turned into a golem, and by doing so he can resist damage a bit, and he can also walk on spiked surfaces. And finally, Ko the mouse was originally a wizard, turned into a mouse somehow, and he can squeeze through tiny little gaps, also climb any surface, and he can lie a bunch of bombs. And finally, at the startup screen, you could pick start a new game or password. I picked the easy difficulty because I wanted an easy first time experience, and after that you can select the stage that is corresponding to the different heroes. So it basically is a short level, a little stage where you learn how to play the character and learn their abilities and stuff. So I started to play as Little Samson. He's starting in this mountain area, and this game looks really good. It was developed in the late NES era, so it was actually around when the Super Nintendo was out. But anyway, so Samson throws bells by pressing the B button, and while jumping with the A button and pressing the A button again, he can grab walls and climb on ceilings, as I said before. So you can take up to 4 hits, and you can also pick up small hearts to refill your health again. And I also found an expender, like a heart container expender thingy, so I could take 2 more hits. And these can be picked up by any of the characters. And a brilliant thing about this game, it's a bit like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You can switch between different characters once you completed the tutorial stage areas. And now it's time for the dragon. So she can spit fire by holding pressing the B button, and if you hold it, you charge up a bit. She turns blue, and she does a more powerful attack. Jump with the A button, and if you hold the A button while in the air, I should say, she can do this little flying thingy. So eventually, throughout the stage, you will get sucked up in the clouds, and there's some more platforming, and she will reach the castle. So that's the same thing that Samson did. Once you complete the tutorial, you just go to the castle. And now it's time for Gamm the Golem. So he has a boxing glove attack, which is kind of funny. He has a weak jump, and he's slow as snails, basically, but he takes less damage. He's basically like an armored up guy. So he can also cross spiked mushrooms, and eventually he will reach the castle. And finally, it's time for Ko the mouse. She is very weak. She can only take 2 hits, and she drops bombs by pressing the B button. And just like Samson, she can climb walls and ceilings. And I also found a potion, which I didn't know at first what it did, but it's like an energy tank from Mega Man. You just use it and replenish some health. So when all the heroes have reached the castle, the dragon wants to fight Little Samson for some reason, so you battle her and you win. And then you get a passcode. And there's a little nitpick I have with the passcodes. Of course, they will get you where you want to be, in the last place you got the passcode, I guess. But they don't save the health pickups that you have, so you will start with the default number of hit points. So that's a bummer. But otherwise, it's a nice thing to have, like not a save feature, but a password system. And then you get introduced to a detailed world map, and so far it's fun, and the game has just begun. So you can change between the different characters once you go into any of the courses. And you can change on the fly, and they each have their own health bars. So the first level is a ruin that's overgrown by moss, and you avoid these blobs, I guess, that spit out balls. And I slowly went through the stage, inching it through with Samson, just throwing bells at the enemies. And at the end, you fight the evil wizard. And I had no strategy. I just brute forced him with Gamm, and I got a password at the end. Next up was a mountain area where I have to use the dragon in order to ride some whirlwinds and avoiding pinkish dragons. Next up was a forest area where you ride some leaves on the water surface, and the boss was a mermaid, water spirit or djinn. So for this battle I switched between Gamm and the dragon, and it was kind of one of those things. I guess I just could have brute forced it, but there's some tactics to this game actually. And then I got a new password. So in the next stage I switched up between the characters. I fought some charging skeletons, I guess, taking out some larvas while climbing the ceiling, jumping on spiky mushrooms with Gamm, using chaos abilities to grab an extra guy or one up. And I believe this game has changing paths, so you can take different paths throughout the level to get to other stages. So on the next stage you climb, avoiding spinning, shooting skulls. So the next stage is the jungle, and it was hard to traverse because there were these currents in the water. So then you fight some small red pinkish dragons, and the boss here is it's like a mixture between a dragon and the alien creature, if that makes sense. So it spits fire and it uses its tails to attack. I used mainly Gamm and the dragon in this part. And by the way, at this stage I got my first game over and I had to use the password system. And it was kind of annoying because then I realized that I lost all the upgrades for the health and everything. It was not a big deal, but it was a bit annoying, I should say. I think the next stage was a cave area, and I played a little bit of that, and then I put the game down. So it was a fun game to play this week, actually. I was pleasantly surprised. It's very well polished. So, gameplay. With the help of the 4 heroes, try to defeat the evil prince and save the lands. Control. The D-pad moves the characters around. The B button fires, punches, and throw bells or uses bomb between the different characters. And the A button jumps, hovers, grabs walls and ceilings. And the start button pauses. Graphics. So the graphics actually look really good for a NES game. I really like the character sprites as well, and I almost made some pixel art this week. Sound and music. Yoshiji, Yokoyama, Yuki, Marukawa, and Satsuka Matsume made the music for this game. And every time you pause the game, the music resets for some reason, and there is not an overall theme on the levels. It's just the different characters have different themes. That's what I was trying to say. Easter eggs, secrets and glitches. So this game is super expensive if you want a physical copy. So there was a limited print of these games as far as I understand it, and it was also released late in the NES life cycle. So I went online and checked if I could get a physical copy, just because. And the funny thing about it, I found a Little Samson for almost €8, and I was like, What is happening? This is way cheap. Well, and then I clicked the link, and it turns out it was a Little Samson fish scale. I was like, damn it, you almost had me there. Also, another thing that I can recommend, the gaming historian made a great video about this, discussing the game in detail, so check that out. I also watched a speedrun that Arcus did. He completed the game in 12 minutes and 27 seconds, and that's just crazy. So in conclusion, I wrote, yes, try it, it's a must play. So I can recommend play on the easy difficulty. Normal is a bit harder. So a good mechanic, you can switch between the characters on the fly. And then that's really nice, you know. If you don't have enough health with one character, you can just change it out for the time being. The only complaint I have are the bullshit spikes, because they are insta-death if you aren't Gamm. So that's the only negative thing I can say about the game. Otherwise, go play it. It's an awesome game. So yeah, anyway, thanks for listening and or watching, and take care.